Now, we all know that Yuji Horii likes to hide things in plain sight, so hidden that most people don't even realise it. But did you ever stop to look at what he was actually hiding? Because it's only when we peek around the curtain of fantasy we begin to see the magic inside of Dragon Quest's most hidden and deepest pieces of lore. Cheese. Wait, I know what you're thinking, but trust me, nobody has covered this before on YouTube and it goes so much deeper than you would expect. In the very beginning, there was a single chaotic world. Eventually, in order to achieve balance, the world split apart into two distinctive yet nearly identical dimensions. The demon Rapthorn had conquered his own world, then attempted to merge the two worlds so he could rule over all of creation. During his conquest, he fought against the Dragovians, nearly wiping the race out of existence entirely, until he was halted by 7 men possessing superior magical powers, who later became known as the 7 Sages. With the help of a powerful and kind mystical bird with the power to travel across dimensions, who became known to them as Imperia the God Bird, she assisted the 7 Sages by creating the God Bird Scepter, which was used to seal away the soul of Rapthorn. This seal would never be broken, on the condition that the bloodline of all 7 men would never vanish. The world of light was shaped by the 7 Sages' victory, and the mystical seal was passed down from generation to generation. But the power of the Dragovians too was nearly wiped away. Much of it returned to Earth where it once came, only to be lost to time. But not all of it was lost. It is said there are 15 legendary cheeses spread across the world of light, many of which have never been seen by mortals ever since the days of the 7 Sages. The remnants of this magic grows only in places where the earth runs deep and old. It is never said in the legendary stories that the sages ever used these magical cheeses. However, it is never stated they didn't choose it. And now, somewhere in that world, sleeping in the pocket of a cursed king's guard, is an unlikely pet tied to more than meets the eye. His name is Munchie, and around him is a small group that travels through a world about to be broken. There's a cursed king named Trode, who's cursed to look like a troll, and his daughter is silenced in the shape of a horse by the same curse, and Yangus, a man who owes the hero 8 his life. The hero is Munchie's trusty companion, and they are chasing someone terrible across the world of light and stopping him from putting an end to the world. Early on in their journey, on a hill above a waterfall near Fairbury, they meet an old man. The old man notices Munchie and recognises he is no ordinary mouse, and mentions that he comes from a place where cheese is so enormously popular. So as a kind gesture for helping him out, the old man hands the hero 8 portions of plain cheese, hinting it is specifically for Munchie. Yet in battle, Munchie eats it and suddenly breathes fire. This cheese affected Munchie in such a way no mortal would ever see coming from cheese, but the party just assumed that's what happens when special pig rats eat cheese. Perhaps they should have been asking why a rat naturally breathes fire at all, and yet the rat himself is not surprised. But the plain cheese was just the beginning of a secret that would take the entire journey to uncover. From that beginning, the earth offered its first variations. The first cheeses the world knew were the earthly cheeses, discovered by only the most intelligent humans in craft, and distributed this knowledge across the lands. Plain cheese was the foundation of it all. Mixing it with a little rock salt would turn it into hard cheese, and the fire would disappear. Instead, what came out was protection. Munchie consuming the hard cheese would grant the party stronger legs to stand on, making them harder to break. The party knew this as the spell Kabuff, an ancient protective spell confounded within a single piece of hard cheese. Soft cheese tells the other side of the story, by stripping down plain cheese to its simplest level, fresh milk and rennet powder, and by adding rock salt at this point in craft, the result melts into a soft cheese and quietly removes the barriers from your enemies, or commonly known as Kasap. Both come from the foundations of just plain cheese. The earth gave the same gift in different ways, and this power must have come from somewhere within the earth. Then something changes slightly. The plain cheese meets with Amor Secco essence. The fire disappears once more, turning into a mild cheese, and now Munchie delivers the gift of healing to his friends. At a certain point in the hero's story, they acquire the ship, and when returning to the old man, he gives the hero 4 portions of mild cheese, with no explanation, just as a gift for the party, or perhaps Munchie. Chunky cheese is different from everything before it. It becomes the cheese of endurance. Pouring magic water into a slice of plain cheese will result in resistance to both fire and cold simultaneously. A spell known as Insulate that shields the party from the spells of breath attacks. But something is different with chunky cheese. Somewhere hidden away from the rest of the world is a secret land the party does not yet know exists. It's rumoured to be called the Dragovian Sanctuary. The cheese of protection is kept in the homeland of the people who is said were nearly destroyed fighting the very same evil the party is chasing. And yet, the game says nothing. It is not known whether this is intentional or just a coincidence. But for now, the cheese has begun to change, with mould that holds mystical secrets that are not yet understood. The red mould, a mould that grows with a fiery colour from the earth, available to any traveller who knows where to look. It can be diluted with plain cheese to turn it into a small flicker. The world simply describes this spicy cheese. Munchie's fire burns brighter with super spicy cheese. Spicy cheese double concentrated with extra red mould that gives Munchie the Inferno, dealing heavy fire damage to all the enemies. And this potent cheese became increasingly intense. A small creature could do all of this and was never questioned. He is now capable of utilising the most powerful of all fiery breath spells the earth could give. But then, what if the earth turned cold? The waterweed mould grows from the world's water, and mixed with a piece of plain cheese, the fire goes away immediately, and instead, coming out of Munchie's breath was now an icy cold frost, a spell contained within the cool cheese. And this was just the beginning of this cold descent. Adding another waterweed mould to the cool cheese would intensify the cold into a chilly cheese that's as cold as ice itself. Add another waterweed mould again, and the result is a freezing blizzard contained in the cold cheese. This cold cheese could be found in the shadows of the world, sitting in a treasure chest in a place called Dark Empichu, a shadow version of a world that the party reaches after crossing through darkness itself. Still, nobody had questioned Munchie's breath, the powers that came so naturally to him, the powers of fire, ice, healing and protection. All of it was drawn in from things the World of Light freely offered to those who find it. Munchie was much more than an unlikely fighter capable of wielding magical cheeses. He was a true member of the party and would often aid the group by sneaking into locations and finding items that the party needed. He was much more than a pet. He had a mind of his own and something intriguing about him that nobody paid attention to. But the earth had secrets hidden deep in the oldest of places. In the ground where something ancient had long ago settled, something grows. Something powerful from the age of the 7 sages had seeped into the roots of the earth, and coming from it was an Yggdrasil leaf, from a tree of ancient legend said to connect all realms of existence, a leaf so rare a traveller could only carry one at a time. It's a leaf that brings back the dead, grinded down and combined into the alchemy pot with the red mould and waterweed mould, the combination of fire from the earth, cold from the water and resurrection from God's tree, created the premium mould. One of the most extraordinary substances in all the world of light, only crafted by those who had vast knowledge of alchemy. Something that cannot be found unless you already know where to find it. This rare substance, however, was easily accessible in one place and one place only. It was in abundance in a place the party had not yet heard of. Whatever premium mould touched, changed it forever. The earthly cured cheese made from fresh milk and amor secco essence that could cure an ally. Combine it with the magic of premium mould and Munchie delivers a gentle recovery to the whole party. Magic resembling the spell multi-heal. And then the fire. The earthly cheeses took fire as far as the Inferno spell. This small pig rat Munchie could unleash 75 points of damage with this hot breath. But that super spicy cheese combined with the premium mould and something else the world has in abundance, dragon dung. Together it produces the most powerful fire cheese in all of existence, the scorching cheese, burning 160 points of fire damage. Munchie can wield the breath powers of all kinds. The cold cheese had once frozen the air at 130 points with a freezing blizzard, but cold cheese, premium mould, and another scoop of dragon's dung produces something so cold, even the name can't handle it. The cold cheese. The most devastating breath attack Munchie will ever breathe from this world. During the story, Dulmagus is eventually defeated, and the old man back at the waterfall gives you 2 strange pieces of cheese as a thank you. a cheese that has an angelic tone that feels more powerful than the ascended cheeses. Its shape resembled something that seems like it should be used as a last resort, and Munchie seemed quite fond of this cheese, but the hero keeps it for emergencies. The final ascended cheese is not one that requires the premium mould, it's one capable of being produced merely by combining the most ordinary ingredients on Earth. Those humans knowledgeable enough to discover the secrets of super spicy cheese and cold cheese would also know that combining them together would create the most highly strung of all cheeses, the highly strung cheese, capable of raising the tension of the entire party, making them highly strong. And this cheese can be found in only one place in the world without crafting it. It is sitting somewhere the party is about to discover, waiting in the homeland of a people who were nearly wiped from existence, the hidden Dragovian Sanctuary. Except the party cannot open the gates, it will not budge until the unlikely hero Munchie can shockingly open the gate and fades into the light. As the party pass through the light, they're greeted by an old man called Chen Mui. Since it's been many hundred years since the Sanctuary saw humans, except the Sanctuary was not as it was when he once left. The Lord of the Dragovians went mad to abandon his humanity and remain in dragon form permanently, which caused chaos around the Sanctuary. Only after the hero and friends defeat the Dark Lord of Dragovia and return him to his human form, peace is brought back upon the ancient land. This was a land filled with beings that resemble humans. The difference in form mostly comes from their ears, and they can apparently turn into full-fledged dragons. The Dragovians are quite fond of cheese, and often enjoy the powers they retrieve from eating magical cheeses, powers that regular humans and creatures cannot wield. Here, it is revealed the true nature of the hero, born of a Dragovian mother, Gia, and a human father, the Prince Eltrio of Argonia. Relations between Dragovians and humans were strictly forbidden, as it tainted the ancient Dragovian bloodline. This forbidden union birthed a tainted son. The Dragovian Council of Elders decided to banish the child to prevent any further contamination of their race, and to ensure he never attempted to return, the Lord of Dragovians placed a curse on him to seal away his memories of the Sanctuary. It is revealed that Chen Mui is in fact the grandfather of the hero 8. Chen Mui suffered serious guilt for forcibly separating the hero's parents, which led to Eltrio's death outside the Sanctuary gates and Gia's fatal depression, and her untimely death during labour. Chen Mui felt responsible for the tragedy that struck the two in love, and he was unwilling to let his only grandson face the human world alone. He was given permission to follow him and watch over his grandson, on the condition that he take a form that would not interfere with the boy's human life, and swears to never speak to the hero. And so, Chen Mui had transformed himself into a quiet little pig rat. Chen Mui became Munchie, and chose to become a silent guardian for his grandson for many years in an attempt to right his wrongs. Chen Mui was an unlikely protector that did everything to ensure his grandson's safety, and used all 15 legendary cheeses of the earth, cheeses that were a part of his home's culture and reminded him of who he was, except there was one cheese remaining that Munchie would use as a last resort only. The angelic cheese was handed to them earlier in the story. The angel cheese, the rarest and most magical of all cheese, found in chests hidden away in the Dragovian Sanctuary, only held by special Dragovians themselves. However, a secret alchemy recipe exists, combining the earthly fresh milk, the magical premium mould, and finally, the heavenly Yggdrasil dew, which is crafted by mixing a rare Yggdrasil leaf and a pot of magic water. The angel cheese can bring a fallen party member back to this world, and it's also one of Munchie's favourites. Perhaps the old man back at the waterfall knew this. Perhaps he knew Munchie was Chen Mui all along, and prepared his favourite Dragovian-style cheeses for when they returned. You should know there are two distinct universes where these events take place. The real world of light, where alchemy takes substantial time before completion. One must simply place ingredients into the pot and go ahead on your journey, crafting only one single item at a time, and you've got to remember all the recipes yourself, writing them down in a recipe book. This pot over the course of a hero's journey is upgraded quite a few times, and as a gift in the Dragovian Sanctuary, it becomes a super alchemy pot, which makes all future alchemy instant. You may know this universe by a different name, called the PlayStation 2. However, there is the ideal world, where alchemy is widely accessible and utilised by many, often known as the 3DS world. In this world, alchemy is always instant, and you could craft batches as large as your heart desires, and the pot would have memory of all your recipes you previously crafted. It would automatically fill the pot with whatever you please as long as it was in your inventory. There are many other distinctions between the PS2 and 3DS worlds, but that's a tale for another time. Here we close the hidden lore behind Munchie and the 15 legendary cheeses. This quest was given to me by a fellow Dragon Quest fan, and if you would like to see me dive into another piece of hidden Dragon Quest lore, tell me below. I may take it. And by the way, the song you're hearing right now is not actually pulled from the game itself, it's actually just one guy playing the recorder over several layers. He's extremely talented and you should go check him out. For now, please enjoy the full tale of Dragon Quest V, the entire story told in its fullest detail, creeping at just over 3 hours long, rich in emotion and heart, narrated entirely by me. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you again soon.